Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Through Her Healing Lens. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is a safe place for women healing from narcissistic abuse, emotional trauma, divorce, and learning to find her voice again. Today's message is for the woman who feels she's making no progress. The woman who still cries at night. The woman who still has hard days. The woman who still wonders, why am I not yet over this? If that's you, I want you to stay with me because healing doesn't always feel like healing. Sometimes healing feels messy. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it even feels like you're moving backwards. But often you're growing in ways you simply can't see yet. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 signs you're healing, even if it doesn't feel like it. Now let's begin. The first sign, you no longer blame yourself for everything. Yes, one of the biggest wounds narcissist abuse leave behind is self-blaming. You begin to believe, maybe I caused this. Maybe if I'd loved him harder. Maybe if I'd been more quiet. But healing begins the moment you realize somebody else's abusive behavior was never your responsibility. Taking responsibility for your own growth is very healthy. Taking responsibility for someone else's cruelty is not. If you've started saying things like, it wasn't all my fault, now that's healing. The second sign we're going to be talking about is you no longer feel the need to explain yourself. Have you noticed something? You're becoming more quiet. Not because you've lost your voice, but because you've stopped trying to convince people who have already decided not to understand you. Healing teaches you that your peace is more valuable than winning every argument. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Sometimes a no is enough. Sometimes walking away is enough. And sometimes you need to start incorporating the power of silence. The third sign, your nervous system is beginning to relax. Absolutely. When you've lived in survival mode for years, your body forgets what safety feels like. You know what healing feels like? You sleep more better at night. You laugh without feeling guilty. You're taking deep breaths. You're enjoying silence. You no longer check your phone every minute. These little moments matters. Your body is learning that danger isn't everywhere anymore. Once you regulate your nervous system, you're going to start seeing visible healing. And sometimes if the effect of narcissist abuse gave you some autoimmune illnesses, you start to reverse this because your nervous system feels safe with you once more. Now let's go into the fourth sign. You're beginning to trust yourself again. You know, after years of gaslighting, you stop believing your own instincts. Healing sounds like this. I knew something felt wrong. I should have trusted my intuition. And eventually, you're now trusting yourself again. Now that sentence changes everything. Your intuition is not your enemy. Matter of fact, it's one of your greatest gifts. Like I always tell my clients, your intuition is the silent voice of God. Never ignore your gut feelings. It could literally save your life. Let's go into the fifth sign real quickly. You're creating boundaries without feeling guilty. You know, once you were in this narcissistic relationship, guilty felt like if you were selfish. Now it feels necessary. Healing means realizing that protecting your peace isn't mean. It's actually healthy. Not everyone will like your boundaries, especially the people who benefited when you had none. And that's okay. Healthy people respect healthy boundaries. Always have that in mind. Let's go into the sixth sign. You miss them less than you miss yourself. Now, this is a powerful shift. At first, you're missing the relationship. You're grieving the life that you would have had. You're missing the person you used to be. But now, you're beginning to get a little bit joyful. You're now seeing the confident side of you. You're in peace with yourself. And that's when healing accelerates. Because your focus is going to be shifting from chasing them to discovering who you really are. Let's go into the seventh sign real quickly. You now choose peace over chaos. You now notice that loud and dramatic people no longer impress you anymore. You no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. You no longer think, oh my God, this conflict, is it normal? Peace is now looking very attractive to you. Calm feels beautiful. And that's healing, because healthy love would never require you to be on constant emotional survival. Now let's go into the eighth sign that shows your healing. You start to dream again. Trauma shrinks your world, but healing expands it. You're beginning to think about traveling. Yes, that cruise ship that you've always dreamt of doing. You're beginning to look for the nice hotels and you're beginning to plan your trip. You're starting a business. You're going back to school. You're moving to a new city. You're writing a book. You're finding your purpose. Dreaming again is one of the greatest signs that hope has returned, and that's very powerful. Now let's look at the ninth sign real quick. Your happiness is no longer dependent on someone else's. There was a time your mood was dependent on their own mood. If they're happy, you're happy. If they are relaxed, you were relaxed. If they were angry, you were angry. If they panicked, you panicked. Now healing changed all of that. You begin to create joy for yourself. You have a peaceful morning where you take a cup of coffee or tea. You walk outside, ground yourself barefooted. You're now reading a good book. You're spending time with people that genuinely loves you. You stop waiting for permission to be happy. Now that's freedom, and that's what healing looks like. You're becoming someone else, someone you truly love. Perhaps the greatest sign of healing is that you're beginning to enjoy your own company. You're discovering who you were outside the pain and tears you've experienced for years. No more labels. No more people pleasing. You've become very kind to yourself, more patient, more compassionate, more confident. You're becoming someone your younger self is proud of. And that's beautiful. You know, healing is not always perfect. Can I remind you something? Healing doesn't mean you'll never cry. It doesn't mean you'll never miss them. Healing doesn't mean you'll never feel angry. Healing means those feelings no longer control your life. You're still going to have difficult days. You're still going to have days that you question everything. But difficult days no longer defines you. Progress is not going to be measured by perfection. It's measured by your resilience. Every time you choose yourself, you protect your peace. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you're healing, even if it doesn't feel like it. Now, this is a message to the woman out there watching. If today was hard, if you watched this video with tears in your eyes, if you feel exhausted, I want you to hear me. Look how far you've already come. You've survived what was supposed to destroy you. You're still standing. You're still hoping. You're still choosing yourself every day. Now that takes an incredible courage. Please don't compare your journey to someone else's. Healing has no deadline, no timeline, no competition. Give yourself grace to heal. Celebrate small victories. Trust the process. The woman you're becoming is worth every step. Thank you so much for spending the time with me today. If one of these signs resonate with you, I want you to drop it in the comments and tell me what step you're in your healing journey. And always be kind to yourself. Because healing is not about becoming who you were before your pain. It's about becoming the woman the pain never destroyed. Until next time, keep looking at yourself through the healing lens. Where healing begins, hope grows, and your voice rises again. Take care of yourself. God bless you, and I'll see you in my next video.